We spent a lot of money this last month, and we seem to be doing that a lot lately. So check out our budget report for September 2022, where I share with you the exact amount we spent on everything. Hey there, I'm Brittany Flammer, a financial coach with videos all about budgeting and money saving tips for you and your family. I mentioned that we spent a lot this past month, but you can see how I handle those extra expenses. I like to use a simple spreadsheet. You can grab mine for a couple of dollars. There's a link down below. Otherwise, just follow along to see how we deal with all these extra expenses. Starting with income, my husband is salary, so he usually makes the exact same amount every single month. But he recently got a raise, and we did not know exactly what his take-home pay would be. I was kind of guessing, and I erred on the side of conservative. So his actual pay, his take-home pay, is more than what we had planned, which is always a good thing, right? The LLC, this is the money I make for my business. I took home less than usual, which I actually made a lot more money than usual this month because I've started coaching, charging for my financial coaching. If you're interested in a free consultation call, there's a link down below. You can schedule one. But I also had a lot of business expenses that were unusual. I had to set up online calendar scheduling and some business website expenses that I don't normally have. So I spent a lot more than usual. So I ended up getting less than planned. And interest, we earned $116 this month. We have a lot of money in online savings accounts, money that our emergency fund and money we plan to use in the next couple of years. We have a huge chunk of change set aside for building a garage. So and now the interest rates have risen, we are earning more money on that money in our savings account. Normally, if I weren't filming videos, I would just let it accrue, leave it in our accounts. I would not count it as income, but technically it is income, and I want to be as exact as possible. So since I'm sharing this with you on the web, I'm counting that and including that as our income. So our income was higher than expected. Our tithing was spot on. This is based on our gross income. So my husband made a little bit more, I made a little bit less, so it worked out. Mortgage, $1,300. This is an automatic payment every month. All of the money I make from my business, we're putting aside to make an extra mortgage payment every few months. But the $1,300 is what's automatically paid every month. Electricity, we were under by a few cents. We have solar panels, and so our electricity is lower than most people's bill. Natural gas, this is a fixed expense. I was off $1, but it's $86 every month for 12 months, and then at the end of those 12 months they'll readjust it for a new average, and so then the next 12 months will have the same fee. Our water, we went way over. We live in northern Utah, which is desert, and we have had some severe droughts the last few years, and we have a large yard. It's like 3/4 of an acre, and it's almost all grass or flower beds. And our sprinklers use almost all of our water. It's like 90+% of our water usage for the month is from our sprinklers. We've tried to slow them down, but we were doing a bunch of yard work and we planted garden and fruit trees, so we used more water than we normally would. So we went way over, but you can see if you watch my video for our October budget, I have adjusted since the weather is cooling off. We've cut back on our sprinklers, so I've adjusted for the next month. Life insurance, we went over it, which is crazy because this is a fixed expense, but my husband has a new job. He's making more money, so we wanted to up his life insurance. So we renewed both of our life insurance. We didn't renew them. We got new insurance policies, and mine is in place. My new policy is in place, and I paid for my new policy and I paid for my old policy because I didn't want to cancel my old one until I had the new one in place. So for this month, I actually paid for 2 different policies. So now I can go in and cancel mine. My husband's in the process of getting a new policy for himself, and for him. We're in the process of getting a new policy for my husband, but we haven't officially finished the process and started paying for his yet. Car insurance fixed, $88.20. We are lucky enough to have our auto insurance. They let us pay monthly for no extra charge. I know a lot of places charge you extra if they do monthly, but ours doesn't. Phone bill is fixed at $30 a month. Internet's fixed at $58 a month. Gas, we stayed under budget for gas. I feel so excited about this. The weather was awesome, so my husband was able to bike to work pretty much every day this week. I try to be really conscientious. We got a third car that's better for gas mileage, so whenever I do errands, I try to use that car. I only take our minivan when we're driving everyone. So we've tried to be really conscientious about it. And gas here is always higher than the average. I think that national average last I checked was right around $4. We're like $4.40, something like that per gallon. Piano, $1.50 fixed. Preschool, $100 fixed. Now, moving on to the variable expenses, I separate these out by category when I'm budgeting for the month, but when I spend my money, I shop at a lot of stores like Walmart or Sam's Club or Amazon, where you can buy anything and everything from all different categories. So I don't separate my purchases. I lump it all together. So I had $825 for the month. I lump it all together and I keep track of it on an envelope. You can see my envelope here. I like to do it by the week instead of the month. So I had $206 every week of the month. And if you look at my envelope here, you can see the first week I had $1 left. I used up everything the second week. The third week I went over by $9. The fourth week I went over by $5. So altogether for the month I went over by $13. But then my husband is helping our friends and neighbors do some work finishing a bonus room in their house, like framing it, sheetrocking, that kind of stuff. And so he has been paying for all of the expenses for that, and then they'll pay him back when it's all done. But he's been paying for those expenses, and it's just a few $100s here and there. So I have not pulled out of a separate account. It just comes straight out of our checking account. So this month we went way over because he had some of those expenses for that project. So we went over by $482. Now, if you wanted to be more accurate, you could track these separate categories and it would be great. I just know that I'm never gonna do that because when I go to Walmart, I get stuff from like every category. So I don't like to do it. I like to lump it all together. Okay, now moving on to our savings. Emergency fund, we don't budget anything, but our emergency fund is in one of those online savings accounts, so we're earning interest on it. So all of the interest I just leave in that account. So we had money go into it, so our balance is $15,219, which for us is about a 6-month emergency fund. If you're looking in online savings account, I highly recommend them. I have a video, I'll have it playing at the end right up here, about the best online savings accounts. Currently, the interest rate changes based on interest rates, obviously, but currently all of them are above 2%, so that's better than nothing at your local bank. House maintenance, we budgeted $75 and we did not put anything in. I mentioned that my husband's been working on the project, so he has spent, I don't know, $500 or $600 on this side project, and we usually keep a pretty good buffer in our checking account, but it was getting really low. So I did not transfer any money for our house maintenance out of our checking account into our savings. I left it at $0. I didn't transfer anything, so we're down to $30, but we did spend $108 from this account. We had to buy some more supplies for our chickens, and I bought stain and stuff to refinish our stair railings, and I think that was pretty much it. So we're down to $3,700 in that account because I didn't add anything to it. Flooring, we have decided we have enough in our account for that. We're not adding to it, so I didn't put any in there, didn't spend anything, so our balance has stayed the same. House updates, we budgeted $100. I did not put anything because the same reason, our checking account was getting really low. We overspent because of the project my husband's working on, so I didn't put anything in, but we spent almost $2,000 in this account. I mentioned we are adding a garage. We paid for the plans and we had to get customized plans because it's gonna be attached to our current garage. And we decided to get plans that have a bonus room and we can finish a studio apartment above it. We also bought a new kitchen table. By new, I mean off of Facebook Marketplace, so it's new to us. So we spent quite a bit, so our balance there is down to $28,668. Car expenses, we budgeted $100, but I only put $75 in. It is an automatic transfer, and I have decided to just keep it at $75 because our balance is getting pretty high and we don't need that much in there. We did have to buy a part for our van, so we're at $757. And this is just for regular oil changes, registration, licensing, that kind of stuff. So our balance is pretty high there. So $75 a month I think is gonna be fine. Christmas, we budgeted $25, put $25 in. We did spend $150. I ended up doing family photos, and I never spent that much for family photos. Usually it's like a friend or family member brings their camera and snaps a few photos. In the past, I've gotten on like Facebook Marketplace and found someone for like $50, but our friend, anyway, I decided to do it. The person I could find that could get us worked in was $150, and I just went with it. So I pulled that out of our Christmas fund because I like to take the family photos and we put those on our Christmas cards to send out. So if you can see, our Christmas account balance, savings account is really low, so we should work on that. Kids extracurricular, I budgeted 75, spent 75, or put 75 into the account, but I did spend $131. Our daughter had some school fees. She's in middle school, and here in Utah, you pay school fees. And then I think that was also included karate for one of my other daughters. So we're down to $37 in this account as well. Bike maintenance, budgeted 25, put 25 in, didn't spend anything, so our balance is 688. Extra mortgage payment. So every month, all the money I make, we put into an account to go towards our mortgage. I do not make an extra payment every month because our mortgage company, if we make an extra payment online, it charges us, I can't remember, it's $7.50 or $8 for every payment, which is a ton. That's like 8% of $100, right? So I don't make a payment every month. I could mail in a check, but by the time I look up the address, write out the check, and actually get a stamp on it and put it in the mailbox, it's usually past the month mark. So I have a savings account, I put money into it every month, and then every few months I'll make an extra payment. So we put $134 in, that's all the money I made from my LLC, so $79 from there, and then all of these sinking funds, most of them are in an online savings account where they're earning interest, so all the interest from that I put towards our house mortgage payment. But we did make an extra mortgage payment this month. I finally got the check written out and mailed it in, so I didn't have to pay the fee. So our balance is down to $134. For my business taxes, I set aside 15% of everything I make to pay for taxes when April comes around. So that ended up being $11.90 for the month. So my balance is $127 there. It's not that much. I probably don't need to do it, but it's the habit. So when I do start making more money, it's already ingrained. And Roth IRA, my husband, his retirement, he puts into a Roth IRA, but it's before we actually get paid. It's after taxes, but before we get paid. So we don't see that money. So it has already been taken out of his paycheck. So this is for the Roth IRA in my name. We put $350 each month. And then mutual funds, we are putting away $150 a month towards, we're putting them into index funds. And our intent is to, in 5-10 years, once we get our house paid off, to purchase another house as a rental property. So we're just trying to earn some money on that. So we put less into savings than planned because we have a lot taken out of our checking account because of the side project my husband's doing. If he did side jobs all the time where he spent a lot of money, then we would set up a totally separate account for that, but it's very rare. So I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. So we went over $128, but like I said, I keep a buffer in our checking account, so that's okay. When my husband gets paid for the side job he's been doing, probably in a month or so, we will refill that buffer in our checking account and put some into those online savings accounts. If you want to see my budget for this next coming month and all of our budget reports, check out the playlist. I'll have the playlist right up there, and the online savings accounts, if you want to see my favorites, right up there is that video. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.